Hello guys and welcome to Painting Panzers. My name's Christian and today we've got some 28mm Eureka miniatures Japanese. We don't just have your typical sort of Japanese, we've got a variety of different World War II Japanese figures. So we've got the Japanese figure in his khaki uniform, we've got the Japanese figure in his green uniform, we've also got a Japanese sailor in his white uniform, and we've got a Japanese sailor in his blue uniform. So that's 4 different types of uniforms which will be touched on in this video. So if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Alright guys, I'm going to stop rambling on and get stuck into this video. Now you can pick up these fantastic miniatures at Eureka Miniatures. They've got a whole wide range of Japanese infantry, as we're going to see some of them in this video. So yeah, well worth checking out. It's just a complete range of Japanese figures in my opinion, and they are really nice figures too. So to start off with, we're going to paint the green uniform, the sort of jungle green SNLF Marine late war green uniform. Now I'm going to start by priming all of my figures into Mere Surface Primer light grey, and then I'm going to be using olive grey for his uniform. So for that jungle green uniform. Now this particular segment, this jungle green that we're covering, is going to be a long portion of the video because I'm going to be going through each step. So not just the uniform, how I paint the weapons, the skin, and all the other equipment. So strap yourselves in, it's going to be a bit longer than usual, but we're going to cover 4 different uniforms in this video. And don't forget to paint his hat in that colour too. Then moving on, I'm going to be painting his gaiters in Russian uniform World War II. So it's a slightly different shade of green, but it all looks pretty much the same. So this Russian uniform, it's just going to add a little bit of depth and a little bit of a difference between the 2 colours there. Now for some of the straps and webbing, I'm going to be painting that in German camo medium brown. It's a brown leather colour, so I'm going to start with the straps, paint them in this colour. I'm also going to paint pretty much most of the equipment in this colour. Obviously the canteen will be painted in a different colour, but his pistol holster, for example, will be painted in the colour. He's got a little strap or a little sort of satchel on his back there. It's going to be painted in the same colour as well. Then for that water bottle that I just mentioned, I'm going to be painted that in burnt umber, so giving that a really nice coat of that. Just try and missing the top of the lid, just because you can paint that in a separate colour as well if you want to. Just get in all the little nooks and crannies there. Now flat earth is what I'm going to be using for any wooden part. So for this light machine gun, I'm going to be painting the stock in flat earth. And I'm going to try and paint the grip there in flat earth as well. That's pretty much it. Obviously if you had a wooden handle or anything like that, I'd be painting that in that colour too. As well as his boots. His boots are a brown colour, so I think flat earth is going to work great for this colour. And then for any metal areas, I'm going to be using black grey. So you can see that this LMG is mainly metal, so black grey is going to be perfect for that. But any other type of metal area as well, I'm going to be using that. I tend to avoid metallic colours for my metals. I prefer non-metallic, but if you want to go metallic, you can do. Now I did mention previously that I painted the straps on the water bottle in German camo medium brown. You can do that, but you can also change it up and paint them in khaki as well. So have a little bit of fun, change it up ever so slightly, and yeah, just have a little bit of fun with it. Now, as I've said, this green uniform is great for representing the late war Japanese forces, as well as those SNLF Marines. So it's up to you what you want to do with this green uniform, but I think it looks great for that, for both of those. And you can see I also use khaki for the top of the lid there. Now I've moved on to Null Oil and left me on medium at that 1:1 ratio. It's my go-to wash. I absolutely love this wash. It's just fantastic, but you must make sure you don't just use Null Oil straight from the bottle. Make sure you thin it down at around that 1:1 ratio. You can add in a touch more Null Oil, but yeah, try and keep it diluted with that thinners. Now, once that wash is dry, it takes a good few hours. I'm going back over the uniform with olive grey. Now, you're pretty much repainting the whole uniform again, except leaving that original washed base colour in the recesses. So what do I mean by that? You can see already. What I mean by that is the creases, the inner part of the crease you want to leave in that dark washed color, and then just paint everything else. Now I'm going to use olive grey and German camo beige World War II at a 2:1 ratio. So I'm emphasizing the olive grey over the German camo beige in the mixture. And now I'm starting to pick out lots of details. I'm scratching in all of the parts that I want. So those flat surfaces and those raised surfaces. And I'm scratching in. So I've got very little on the tip of my brush, paint that is. And I'm working in. So if I make a few mistakes, it's really not a big problem. And then following that same mixture but at a 1:1 ratio, this is where you really want to pick out all those little bits of detail. So those raised edges, you can see I'm going along the raised edge there. And then I blend it in with the rest of the trouser. So not going too harsh. And then the same again with any other raised edge, just sort of blend it in. And you can see on the back here, I'm just adding in a little bit of detail where it's mainly could have been worn from where, you know, his bum and all of that sitting down. And then German camo medium brown is what I'm going to be going over again for those leathery brown colours on this particular chap. So that's his webbing straps, some of those pouches. He's got a strap along the top of his hat there as well. So I'm going to be painting in that. And then to get that sort of orangey leather colour, I'm going to mix some orange brown into that mixture. But this time at a 2:1 ratio. So I'm following the exact same principle as I did with the uniform. So I'm leaving that original washed base colour in the recesses, repainting it, then adding this mixture in, picking out lots of those nice details, scratching it all in just to make certain areas really stand out, and then finishing it off with a very subtle light highlight. So that German camo medium brown, orange brown. So you can see I'm just going on the outer edge of each of those lines on that strap, and then same with this pouch. I'm just getting in all the little details and the edges of it and all the straps. And then the process just remains the same. So now I'm using Russian uniform World War II and going over those gaiters. There's a lot of detail in these gaiters, so just take your time because they can really pop and look really nice if you do that. And then I'm using German camo beige at a 1:1 ratio with that Russian uniform, and this is where I'm picking out lots of details, but I'm just using this as a highlight. I'm not going to do another step. And with that done, I can now move on to the metal areas. So I'm going over this particular machine gun again with that black grey. Now I'm using a black grey and basalt grey at a 1:1 ratio, and I'm just picking out lots of those details. When you've got a flat surface like this, just scratching sort of towards the middle. You don't have to do too much on here. You just want to have a bit of a shine as if the sort of sun's going off the top of it, and then just a light bit of paint on your brush and just sort of lightly go over the top of all of those little grooves. And then basalt grey is what I'm going to be using for the highlight. So you can see I'm just picking out all the little corners and such, raised areas, and just adding in a little tiny bit of that basalt grey just to really make this stick out. There's lots of grooves in that magazine as well, and then light little brush along the top of that barrel with all those little grooves in it. Now for the shoes and for the wood, I'm going over them in flat earth. So you can see that those shoes are really going to look good with this coat of flat earth. You probably won't need to do anything other than that. But for the wood, we want to go over those wooden areas with flat earth and orange brown after we've given it a coat of flat earth, and use this, just scratch it in there, just run it along horizontally, just try and simulate some wood grains. It's hard to see because there's very little wood in this particular shot that I can actually show you. And then with the same technique, just use a bit of orange brown and just obviously reduce the amount that you're putting it on. Then for that water bottle, I'm going to be going over it in burnt umber, and I'm just pretty much repainting it all on again, obviously just leaving the edges around the straps and that in that original washed base colour. Then I'm using burnt umber and German camo beige World War II at a 1:1 ratio. It's probably a bit too light. I probably should have gone with a 2:1 ratio, but that's okay. I'm just going to paint it on. It's looking similar to the khaki, but it's once the khaki's been highlighted, it will stand out a little bit better. So talking about the khaki, I'm going to go over the khaki straps in khaki and stone grey at a 1:1 ratio, and that's just going to really make those khaki straps stand out and look a little bit different from that water bottle, and use a bit of that on top of that lid as well. Now for the skin tone, I'm going to be using brown sand. It's a really good skin tone colour for sort of like a tanned color, so I think brown sand's going to work great for the Japanese skin tone. Bearing in mind, Japan is full of different islands and stuff, and the skin tones do vary quite a bit, so just keep that in mind. With that on, I'm then going to give it a wash of umber from Vallejo, and just applying it pretty well. I'm adding in quite a bit here, just using an old battered pointy brush for that application. And once that's dry, I'm going to go over the skin again with brown sand. So I'm painting all the facial features. I'm painting the nose, I'm painting the chin, the lips, the cheek, the ear. I'm not painting the eyes, but I can paint the eyelids if they've been sculpted on. But yeah, don't paint the eye region. Leave that nice and dark, unless you're going to be painting eyes, but you're a madman or woman if you are. And then I'm going to add brown sand and German camo beige at a 2:1 ratio. So now I'm just adding in a little bit of detail underneath the eye socket there, and on the cheek, a bit on the chin, a bit on the top of the nose there, along the jawline too, but not connecting it all together. This is where I'm starting to really try and make certain facial features stand out. And then following the same, but at a 1:1 ratio this time, I'm going to add in the same sort of technique, but reduce the amount that I'm putting on. So you can see here I'm just putting in a little bit more underneath that eye line, but not too much, a little bit along the jawline. And yeah, you get the gist of it. It will really make your figure pop. Now I'm going to show you how I paint the uniform in that traditional sort of khaki Japanese looking uniform. So following the same technique as what I've shown you, I'm going to be painting the shirt, this particular shirt, in khaki. So this is one type of uniform that you can paint, or one type of color that I found works really well. There is a Japanese uniform color from Vallejo, but I don't like it, so I'm going with that. Now another option you could go with is old wood. If you want a bit more of a faded looking uniform, then this is another really good option for this like sort of khaki looking Japanese uniform. So we've got two here. Now once that's been washed, for the khaki, I'm going to reapply khaki over the uniform. Again, following the same principle. I don't need to go into all the details of the principle because I'm probably boring you guys to tears, but this is what I'm doing with the uniform. So I'm going over it all with khaki again. And then I'm using khaki in stone grey, but this time at a 2:1 ratio. So reducing the amount of stone grey that I'm putting in. So I've got 2 parts khaki, 2 parts stone grey, and this is where we're going to build up to that final highlight. So I'm just adding in lots of nice details on those flat surfaces, but not trying to add too much of it on there where it's going to take away from this final highlight, which is the khaki and stone grey at a 1:1 ratio. And you can see that I'm just scratching in all the bits of uniform, trying to highlight those raised edges, but I'm just blending it all together. I'm terrible at explaining what I'm doing, but hopefully visually you can see what I'm trying to achieve here. Now with that khaki option done, we can then go over with old wood and stone grey at a 2:1 ratio. So the principle is exactly the same, but I'm using old wood instead. So you can decide which one you prefer, or if you want to do a mixture of different uniforms and such with following these two subtle changes. But yeah, they really are so subtle that you can't really make it out too much, but it's enough of a change that your eye can notice it, which is what you want. It's going to give you lots of variety in your uniforms, and yeah, you're really going to be laughing. Now with that done, we can look at some actual naval uniforms, so the white and the blue uniform. Now I'm not going to go into too much on how I painted it, but I have got a little segment on it. So for the white uniform, I painted it in deck tan to start off with. I then give it a wash, painted over it again in deck tan. You can see here's where I then move on to deck tan and white grey at a 1:1 ratio. So you can see that I'm just showing you that's what I did. So the deck tan and white grey is going to give you a really nice lead into the white grey. So I'm going to follow it up with white grey once that's done. And with that done, you can actually then add in a final highlight of white, and this is what's going to give you a really crisp white uniform. And for his hat, I painted the band in black and used a yellow with a very fine pointed brush to add in the Japanese words on the cap or the hat there. Then for the blue uniform, I'm going to be using dark Prussian blue, but that's going to be my base color, because then I'm going to add in some white grey, but only a little amount of white grey, around a 10:1 ratio. And then for the final highlight, I'll add in 8:1, and you're going to get this beautiful looking blue uniform. And then for the scarf that's going over his neck there, I'm going to be using dark Prussian blue and medium blue at a 1:1 ratio. And you can add a little bit of white for a final highlight if you want to, but I didn't in this case. I just left it like that. So there we go. I've touched on 4 different uniforms, focusing on that SNLF or late war Japanese green uniform, but some of those uniforms in there are so iconic that they're worth covering. So let me know in the comment section if you've enjoyed this. I do apologize that the last little bit of it was rushed. I didn't want to keep the video going for too long, focusing on the exact same sort of techniques. So I do hope it's going to be covered, and any questions you might have will be answered in that particular segment. But if you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section. I'm always willing to talk to you, answer questions and such, and I'm not afraid to be told where I've got things wrong, so definitely do that. I must say a huge thank you to Nick at Eureka Miniatures for sending me out these figures. I really do appreciate it. They're going to be going back to Nick, so if you're ever in the area of Australia that Nick's housed in, which I believe is Melbourne, drop by in, say hello and take a look at these figures. Say Painting Panzers sent you. A huge thank you also goes out to my YouTube channel members and Patreon members, specifically Patrick, Oscar James, Panzer Jim, Lack of Foresight Gaming, Mike, Mikey, Eric, Rough Guy, Ian, Adam, Rob and Alan. Thank you so much, lads. I really appreciate you being those higher tier members. Alright, if you're new here, please do like and subscribe. It really would mean a lot to me. And for those that are existing, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave me a comment below. And until then, I will catch you at the next one.